Hey guys, and welcome back to Shadows of Hong Kong. Or Shadow of Hong... is it? I don't remember if it's plural or not. Anyway, we have basically been kidnapped by a individual task force of the HKPF, and they're trying to use us against the corporation that we were pretty mad at, Josephine saying. Specifically the officer that killed... Actually, no one the protagonist necessarily cares about, but they killed the cop and they killed the other Shadowrunners that we kind of replaced. We're on our ship, which they also stole, and I'm kind of just curious if this computer has anything new on it. The mission computer. Your workstation and mission computer, the cool blue tones of the workstation's main menu fill the screen. Inbox. No unread messages. Jobs directory. View pending jobs. Nope. Read your old messages. They're not even there. It's completely cut off. Open the Shadowrun BBS. Search for relevant keywords. Alright, there's a few things here. Thread, vultures in the walled city. I just saw some corporate suits scouting around the walled city. Gentrification imminent. What a word. And the rebels barely settled in the slum. So the moment that life takes a turn for the better in the walled city, some corpse smells a profit and moves in. Appalling. Bet they buy up the tenements, tear them down, and put in luxury coffin apartment complexes and a helipad, so the well-heeled don't have to tread through the filth at street level. What about the Yellow Lotus? Can't see a triad letting a court waltz in and demolish a source of revenue without so much as a whimper. So that's the thing. Bao's guys are nowhere to be seen. You know some red envelopes changed hands. Nguyen talks, but the suit still brought plenty of private muscle. Clearly not taking any chances. So this is all epilogue for the original game / an in-between for here and there. Looking for romance. Wiry, handsome, expat male looking for passionate encounters. Not picky, male or female. I enjoy hitting the night markets when I'm not tinkering with my drone or infiltrating AAA megacorps. No smoking, no recreational drugs. In professional capacity, okay. Flexibility, a must. Sometimes need to cancel dates at the last minute due to gigs and incarceration. First aid skills is a plus. How's the dating scene here in HK? Just arrived in town. Got any tips? Where can I go to find the special gal? Honestly, HK is better for fleeting liaisons than long-term engagements. You should check out Frolic in Lan Kwai Fong. The music's loud and freaky, and so are the clubbers. The scene can get a little rough, though. I hooked up with this crazy elf there once, and every time I ran my hands over the scar tissue, it really brings me back. It's not for everyone, though. Plus, I'm now partially deaf. Have you tried Happy Valley? I'm not even kidding. Very intense long-term relationships can spring from the heart-pounding thrills of the racetrack. Well, you can always try romancing someone on your team, if you got one. Shudder. Now that's a bad idea. Give me Matrix dating any day. Ticking mystery box for sale. Oh, that's that's worrying. I've got a mystery item sealed in a metal alloy casing, freshly liberated from the Yamatetsu warehouse. It wasn't ticking before, but it is now. Since it survived a bumpy motorboat chase, I figure it's safe. Since I don't have the engineering chops to liberate it properly, it's going to the highest bidder. So it could be a beyond bleeding edge biotech prototype, or it could kill you. Have I got that right? If you don't like it, don't bid. I do this all the time, man. People love surprises. It's fundamentally no different than a grab bag. Except for the possible death part. Seriously, who's plunking down Nguyen for unidentified stolen goods? I got the winning bid on a Fuchi rattling container, giant box of Allen wrenches. I won a vibrating briefcase taken from a high-level Ares scientist's offices. Inside there was well, something you wouldn't expect to find in a workplace. Use your imagination. Ew. Anyway, it was in good shape, so I regifted it. And I'm out. Crowdfund my Vladivostok trip. A lot of you already know me, but for those that don't, I'm ICIC Sasha, Russian native. I've been decking in HK for over a decade. I have a business opportunity in my hometown, Vladivostok, and I have started my Pay My Way campaign to cover a no-frills trip, a round-trip ticket. Please support me. You're a pal and all, but why don't you just save up your Nuyen like the rest of us? What's this business opportunity if it doesn't actually pay your way? Got any bonus funding goals? Good questions, good questions. Well, Pandadex, I hope to move back to Vladivostok. My opportunity is a contact with the megacorp that does not have a presence in that city yet. But if it works, it would be very good for my contact. And very, very good for me. Bonus goal would be a one-way ticket to Vladivostok. Sold. I'll be delighted to spread the word for everybody. And I mean everybody, I know. Transferring creds now. Icy? You're not skipping town without clearing your mahjong debt to me, are you? It's, another one of my bonus goals. I'm paying you a visit, Icy. Someone got in trouble. This public gossip is basically what this stuff functionally is. That was fun, though. I'm glad we found that. So we can find out about the thing that you wouldn't expect to find in a, office. Wow, I don't remember how stomping my feet were. It's a bit of a surprise. Is everyone in their quarters right now? Can I talk to them? Duncan's pacing footfalls seem to thunder inside the wooden structure. You can hear them before you even enter his cabin, where you find the orc standing back and stalking back and forth across the room, his mind elsewhere. A quick look around and you discover a couple of new dents in the wall. Seems he's been decorating the place in his rage. This is bullshit. We've been through too much to get jerked around like this. Still, Hugh and Lamb say they want to take out the fuckers who killed Carter. Crate and her people trapped us in Hong Kong. Taking them down is an agenda that I can get behind. Let's hope that's their whole agenda. Despite what they've said, there might still be a part of this. There might still be a part 2 of this plan where they arrest our asses or worse. He lifts a sinewy arm to his head and scratches behind his ear. I know what you mean. I'd love to believe him, cops honor and all, but we don't have that kind of security as runners. They see us as less than metahuman. I know I used to. That's a weird thing to see yourself as, considering you are a metahuman, but oh well. So, how are the guns? You mean these? He raises his arms and flexes. A broad smile stretches across his normally serious face. I don't know what to say to this. He puts his arms down, but a smile lingers a couple seconds longer. You asked. The orc suddenly looks a little embarrassed. He scratches his nose. I don't know. Thought I might relieve some of the tension here. I can feel it in my bones. It's been a rough day. That was a shitty question anyway, really. What the hell, handyman? My guns are guns. I keep them on the operating shape like any decent shot would. Gives you a cocky look. Any other questions? Can I even ask about the last run? Where the hell to begin? A vein above his ear bulges as he tries to control his mounting rage. No, what I should be asking is where did things go south? From what the investigators are saying, it sounds like they were tracking us, watching us until an opportunity to... What the fuck is this, a kidnapping? Were we kidnapped? Pretty much. This is bullshit. Nothing but a first-come, first-served situation. He rests his hand unconsciously on top of his right holster. We still don't have any real say in this. We walk away, crates, troops jump us. We stay here, our every move is monitored. Sure, we stand to lose more if Crate gets us, but staying here is like being prisoners with off-site permissions. That's not how I want to live. He lets loose a long sigh, composes himself. Don't know what we can do about it. We weren't given much of a choice, but if you think of anything, I'm all ears. We done here? Gotta run later. We can have actual follow-up on these characters already. That's fun. Well, we're gonna be here for a little while then. Hey everyone. Isobel. Isabel raises her visor. What's up? Ever play any video games that are on that monstrosity of a terminal? Fuck no, the octopus isn't for video games. And besides, I have better things to do than fight make-believe digital enemies, like fight real digital enemies. Nothing. Nothing at any point of your life, ever. Not as far as video games are concerned, not a fan. Does that mean you played other kinds of games? Her mouth opens to respond, but you see her hesitate. No. No games. I'm not convinced. She crosses her arms. That's too bad, because I don't want to talk about this anymore. What did you think of the last run? We really botched that one, didn't we? Literally walked right into the cop's hands. She clicks her tongue, her expression full of regret. She doesn't bother to hide her sarcasm. Couldn't have imagined a better income. The gas was definitely overkill. My throat's still raw from it. A small price to pay for making it out alive. Those cops would have wrecked us. If there's one thing we should take out of this, it's that the investigators must really want us alive for this task of theirs. The ball may be more in our court than we think. Did I already... Oh yeah, I already asked about the last run, so let's see you later. Everyone has their own little perspectives. Noodle machine. It's warm to the touch. Gobbet. How do I highlight? There we go. Gobbet's cabin looks cleaner than you remember it. Turning your head, you discover the reason why. The mountains of dirty laundry and food packing that usually lie strewed across the floor have been gathered into an impressive mound in the corner. Madness and folly scurry along the perimeter of the heap, sporadically ducking in and out of the layers of discarded clothing. It's looking good, holding its shape even. She chews her lip contemplatively. A couple dozen more pizza boxes to help distribute the load, and I can move right in. Gobbet, what are you doing? Meditating, kind of. I'm communicating with the rat, or communing with rat. She frowns, waving a hand as she fishes for the right word. You know, it's like, I'm getting my head right. Considering all that's happened, it just seemed like the right thing to do. It looks like you're building a fort. It's a nest, jackass. You know, like a safe place, something I could burrow into and hide. My totem, she isn't really into the wide open spaces. The only thing that she really likes, the only thing she likes less is captivity. And I've got to say, this whole getting gassed and waking up in a cage thing has me a little on edge, so I'm making myself a solution. She kicks the base of the mound of clothing. The entire thing shudders and collapses in a heap on the floor. Looks like I needed more cardboard. I broke my fort. Frowns deeply. She heaves a sigh. My kingdom for a couch cushion, you know? Or maybe a nice ottoman. Something that can support more weight. I'll keep my eyes open. Maybe one of those boats we've impounded here as a futon or something. No, it's okay, don't bother. She turns away from the now ruined pile of laundry and refuse, rubbing the bridge of her nose between the thumb and forefinger. The magic is gone anyway. So anyway, was there something you wanted, Seattle? If so, I'm all ears. Hey, Gobbet? Is that a Decon noodle extruder? She gives the looming machine an uncertain glance. Yeah, I think it is. You stole it, didn't you? No, I didn't. To be honest, I'm as confused as you are. It sure as hell wasn't in my cabinet before we left for Combat Ping, so how did it get here? Maybe the cops put it here? No, I don't think so. She bites her lip, a nervous expression on her face. Maybe it followed us home from DECCON. Followed us home, how could it... I don't know, alright? It's just here, waiting. Waiting for what? I don't know, alright? I don't know. Let's just change the subject, okay? Maybe if we ignore it, it'll go away. That's how we dropped that topic, okay. How are you doing with all of this? I don't know. About as well as could be expected, I guess. How about you? How are you dealing with it? Do you got any worse? You got it worse than any of us with the magical torture, and your night locked in the box and all. Honestly, I'm pissed. Somebody's gonna pay for what's happening here. She nods slowly. Damn right, somebody's gotta pay. I'll help you make it happen. Maybe I'll do some magic on their brains, see how they like it. Anyway, for what it's worth, I'm glad you're at least more or less okay. Did I already ask about the last run? Yeah, well, let's ask about the last run. Well, I'm not super pleased about it. To be honest, I mean, it was supposed to be a quick and easy run, but look how it turned out. I thought you were okay with Q and Lamb's plan. You wanted to get revenge for Nightjar, right? Yeah, of course I do. That doesn't mean I'm happy about everything that happened to bring us here. We were gassed, Seattle, kidnapped. And we didn't even get any of Pink's chicken wings. As Shadowruns go, that was some bullshit. Anyway, let's talk about something else. Gotta run. I love that she's just still talking about the food. I played into it too. I helped further that, and I do not regret anything. Gobbet's just fun. This whole game is kind of a good example of how I get kind of detached and a little disinterested when I'm playing a game like Divinity Original Sin, or even Dragon's Dogma to some extent, just because like a game like this or a Dragon Age or something just has such well-written characters that you actually get attached to their little stories, and something like Divinity doesn't seem to know how to develop interesting characters. They just know how to monologue at you, and Jahan, for example, is just the worst person to talk to. Rector, welcome back. Was there something else that you needed? Out of curiosity, are you still playing around with those stimulus generators in your brain? I wouldn't say that I was playing around with them, no. I'm constantly using them to fine-tune my brain's stimulus responses, of course, but that hardly constitutes play. I see. And what have you been doing with them recently? For the past week or so, I've been experimenting with synesthesia, training my brain to associate certain colors with certain tastes, sounds with touch, that sort of thing. He snaps his fingers. You hear that? Just a click, yes? Sure. Not for me. Now, when I hear that sound, I feel a tingle on my spine, and a tongue registers the flavors of bourbon and strawberries. What possible value could that have? That was just a small test, my friend. Soon, I will know enough to push the limits of the system, and that will be that is where the practical applications will come in. Imagine the combat advantages of the sound of Koshei's claws on steel produced a palpable sense of well-being, or if I could judge the severity of a bullet wound by the volume of the pinging in my ear. I get it. Yeah. Just be careful, Rector. This feels like playing with fire to me. Of course, my friend, as always. You have nothing to fear from me. What do you think of the last run? He shrugs. I wasn't there, my friend. And, on the whole, I'd prefer not to express an opinion on a run that I did not attend. Yeah, so they're not going to have much to say because they weren't on the run itself. That's one of the many reasons to play this game multiple times, is having the ability to talk to... Besides playing a completely different build, you could talk to different characters about the run afterwards, which is kind of nice. Hello, my friend. Was there something else? How are you holding up in all this? Gaichu shrugs and waves his hand in the direction of the door. Duplicitous corporation, corporate managers, triad gangsters, or police. What really is the difference? None can be trusted fully. Each one would sell us out if it benefited them in the long run. Yet, I continue to be paid, so I will remain. Do not be fooled by our benefactors. If everything they wanted were to be granted to them, and they could earn promotions by arresting or killing us, they would. Money and power rule this city and everyone in it. It is a ravenous maw that devours the weak. I care little for their aims, other than that I can profit from them. Don't you want to go back to working for Ani Chang? I do not work for Kindly Chang and never have. I work for you. A subtle, but important distinction. The ghoul lifts his chin, taking a deep breath in through his nose. Where you go, I will follow. My only counsel at this time is to be cautious, watch your back, and be prepared to have a way out. What do you think of the last run? There is little for me to say as I was not there. Everything I know of what happened is second-hand information. What do you think of our benefactors? I wonder if they did not overstate the danger of Crate and the Special Duties Unit. I do not fear much, especially not a SWAT team. It seems they must be overstating the danger she poses to us during the riots. Certainly, she is dangerous, but so are most of those we've faced. Consider it. If we thwarted a AA corporation, survived a police APB, and stared down a god of death from beyond the depths of known astral space, a SWAT commander seems pale in comparison, don't you think? As for our benefactors, keep your eyes open. For all of her foul-mouthed posturing, I have admired Kindly Chang's insistence that we we trust no one but her. I do not trust Q and Lamb. Lamb's enthusiasm is cloying and false. Q is a corporate soldier and no doubt will execute us without a second thought if ordered to. Believe me, I'm keeping a close watch on them. Good. I will endeavor to be ready for any duplicity should it arise. Alright, we've caught up with the party and checked the terminal. Already 20 minutes into an episode. If there's anything true about the games that I play on this channel, is that they take their sweet time. Which is completely cool with me, except for whenever I feel like I'm limited on time. Now, this is not one of those cases, but it happens sometimes where I'm like, oh man, come on man. Alright, we're just gonna wander on back. Maybe throw in a quick save. Nah, it's fine. Welcome back. Did you talk over your job with the crew? And my boss, who've decided to help you. Q rubs the bridge of her nose between her thumb and forefinger. Good. We'll be holding you to that. A veiled threat. Great way to start a business relationship. Lamb heaves a sigh. Nobody's threatening you, Mr. Finch. Senior Inspector Q is just being careful. As long as you don't try to screw us over, we've got nothing to worry about. Funny, I feel exactly the same way. We have no intention of pulling a past one, really. We have no intention of pulling a fast one on you. We want one thing and one thing only: the evidence to put Crate and her people away. Now, Fiona, you want to get started? A hand goes up to reflexively touch the pendant that hangs from her neck. She nods, then turns to you. All right, pay attention, Shadowrunner. I don't want to have to repeat myself. Yeah, I'm listening. You know that Crate and her people are dirty, but we don't have any ironclad proof. We have to gather something concrete if we want to move on her. You've got someone on staff that can provide minds, right? That can people's minds? What? Okay, I'll just interpret what word's supposed to be there. You've got someone on staff that can read people's minds, right? Just use him on her next time she goes to sleep. Problem solved. She shakes her head. Can't do it. The station that Crate lives and works out of is shielded against magical intrusion. We couldn't get one of our people in for more than a visit. Even if a task force wage mage did manage to read Crate's mind, the results wouldn't be admissible in court. And she'd know that she'd been scanned. Magical interrogation hurts. Yeah, it does. And when this is all over, I need to pay you back for that. Alright, fine. But between then and now, let's stay focused on the damn job, alright? We can't use magic to get all we need. What we have to do is gather solid, tangible evidence of Crate's wrongdoing, no shortcuts. Q's right. If magical interrogation were a viable solution, we would have tried it already. We need to find something that we can present in court. Financial records, written communications, video feeds, that sort of thing. We already know where the proof is being held, but we can't get into it without tipping our hand. And that's where you come in. Just tell me what you need me to do. Crate likes to keep her people close to her. They've consolidated their power into a single police station in the harbor. She leans over and pulls out an image of her terminal. An aerial hollow pic of a squat building crowded up against the water's edge. There it is, an old SDU headquarters. The Crate's current base of operations. They call it the Tiger's Den. Any special significance to that name? It's a throwback to the old days, before the Executive Council took over. Back then, the SDU were colloquially known as the Tigers or the Flying Tigers. Had patches on their uniforms and everything. When Mitsuhama took over the HKPF's contract, they did away with a lot of the old symbols, but in this case, the nickname stuck. We're going to get you into the station, and you're going to liberate the information that we need. Then we're going to take Crate and her people down. And how do you suggest we get in? The front door? She shakes her head. Not quite. You and your team will be smuggled in via the loading dock. We've secured transport for you through an old associate of yours, a pirate and smuggler named Captain Jomo. I know him. He's a good man. Don't know if I'd go that far, but he's a competent smuggler, and that's what we need him for. We've already provided him with a copy of the station's timetable. He knows when they'll be flush with cops. and when they'll be running a skeleton crew. We'll time your arrival so that you have minimal resistance to contend with. Minimal resistance. That'll take all the fun out of it. You're raiding a police station. Minimal in this context could be more than you could handle if you don't play your cards right. Seriously, if you go in guns blazing, we might wind up drowning in a pool of your blood. You should at least try to be discreet. After Jomo gets you to the docking area, our woman on the inside will lead you to the complex. You'll need to make your way to the administrative level. That's where Crate's evidence room is located. We'll take a position up near the station. From there, we'll monitor your progress. Monitor how? She lifts an object with a desk and tosses it to you, a portable surveillance device. Your team will be outfitted with mics, body cameras, and condition monitors before you leave. We'll have a clear view of what's going on inside the station. Alright, you'll be monitoring me. Fine. Let's get back to the briefing. When you get to the admin level, you'll be stepping into hostile territory. Crate and her people have more or less taken over the whole floor, and they won't think twice about putting a bullet in your head if they catch you there. If you encounter any resistance up there, you're going to have to shoot your way through it. They won't give you the chance to do anything else. I'll be calling in a favor with Mitsuhama to bring down the station's comms, so you won't need to worry about them calling in outside help. Anyone who's already in the building is your problem to deal with. You're okay with me killing cops? These aren't good cops. They're Crates people. Corrupt, violent, dangerous. The kind of assholes that ruin the public's confidence in the HKPF and put real constables' lives in danger. No, handyman, I don't mind if you shoot them. If I could get away with it, I'd take them out myself. Frowning, Lamb acquiesces. Going in quiet is safer, but go ahead if it comes to that. Do what you have to do. Once you get past any resistance that you meet up in there, you're gonna be heading to the evidence room. The proof that we need should be stored on a disk in there, or maybe in a terminal. You'll be looking for a log of bribes accepted by Crate and the SDU. We should also use any other proof of corruption that you can find. Transactions records, archived communications between Crate and her clients, that kind of thing. You'll pull the evidence, get back on the boat, and return the package to us at the impound yard. We'll analyze it, and once you're sure that we've got her nailed, we'll make our move on Crate. Alright, so I find the evidence room, grab the data that you need, and then get back to Jomo. He'll bring me back to hand off the data. That's the size of it. You think you can handle it? It'll be a milk run. Glad to hear that you're feeling confident. Don't get too cocky though. Crate and the SCU are no joke. If you need gear, talk to Sergeant Lee out in the yard. He's our quartermaster. I'm sure the Captain Jomo can hook you up with anything that he can't, including any additional personnel that you might need. The good captain asked about you, by the way. Wanted a word about some side work. That's okay with you? You won't try to stop me from doing my own jobs on the side? As long as you keep them quick and concise, you can do your thing. We won't interfere, but our trust has its limits. Don't even think about turning against us or sabotaging this operation. You won't like what happens to you if you do. We'll wait on you to launch the operation. We're going on your timetable. When you're ready to go, talk to Jomo. We're clear on that? Yeah, we're clear. Good. We'll see you in Crate's compound then. Alright, side work with Jomo. That's a bit of a surprise. This didn't seem like a type of content that would because of how confined to this weird quarters this whole quest is. I kind of didn't expect this to have side content of any kind, really. That is a bit unexpected. Alrighty then. Who do we have around here? Probably still need to explore this place to an extent, huh? Keep making the mistake of trying to scroll around with my mouse, but it doesn't work because I have a second screen. There's the constable. The constable standing before you is rail-thin with a wiry build and a lantern jaw. A pair of wire-rimmed glasses perch on the bridge of his nose, and his neck is wrapped in a sinuous tattoo. He glances up from his PDA, locking eyes with you. So, you're the person of interest that everyone's been talking about. I hear Q has big plans for you. You heard right. Lucky me, I guess. You are lucky. You get to walk back out of here with when all this is over with. Most people in your line of work wouldn't be given the opportunity. Yeah, I know. What can I say? I lead a charmed life. His lip curls up into a half smile. Yeah, seems that way. So, is there anything I can do for you? What's your name, Constable? I go by Huey. You're Finch, right? That's what it said on the form. Yeah, that's me. Good to meet you then. I don't get to talk to many people in your line of work, not like this anyway. Usually my talks with Shadowrunners have involved a lot of shouting and tasing. Sometimes shooting. I'm a talker myself. This is a nice change of pace. I was just passing by. I didn't mean to distract you. He shrugs. It's fine. Isn't like I was doing much anyway. Things are pretty quiet right now. I have to go. He waves you away. Go on then. Alright. There's a few relatively friendly people around, it seems. Whether they're just playing along or not, or if they're genuinely up for this is a different question. Hello, entire other chunk of this town. So this is our new home base, basically. We have a quartermaster and the trench-coated man. Who is that? A solitary man stands by the rear of the command trailer. He's got a PDA in one hand and a can of Harbin Ice brand beer in the other. His eyes are intense and he taps rapidly on the PDA screen in between sips of beer. In addition, a peculiar smell lingers around the area. It's best described as custard, cinnamon, and raw sewage. 1 second, I'll be right with you. Gotta finish checking my fantasy urban brawl stats. He continues to tap away for a few moments and then places the PDA back in his pocket. Draining his beer, he tosses it into a nearby bucket filled with other empty bottles and turns to face you. There we are. Now, what can I do for you? Your Cantonese accent doesn't sound local. He cocks his head and appears surprised. Good ear. I moved to Surabaya about 15 years ago. I learned Cantonese from a neighbor. If it sounds odd, it's because of that. I never expected it to come in handy, but here we are. Wouldn't using a Linguasoft chip be easier? He looks at you with a scornful expression. Sure, but it's boring. You can't make wordplay with a chipped language. You can only sound a bit like a robot. I speak 12 languages, including Yoruba, Salish, and Latvian. Hell, I even speak a little bit of Basque. Try and get used to that one. I'm good with languages. The others, the ones I don't know, I chip when I have to. But it's better to know things and not need to use them than to need them and not have no idea what you're doing. Besides, I can order a beer anywhere in the world, guaranteed. What's that horrible smell? Durian, you want some? Oh yeah, durians are famous for basically smelling like shit. I mean literally. He snatches a plate of food from the chair next to him, holding it out to you. The fleshy blobs of yellow pulp are definitely the source of the smell. Up close you get a good face full of other smells such as cheese, raw ethanol, rotting onions, and raspberries. How can you eat that awful stuff? Nothing like a durian in the entire world. It tastes amazing, and you can use it to make so many different things. Crepes, pancakes, gelato, donuts, you name it. It's a shame Q and Lamb don't like the smell. That's why they sent me out here. Said I was stinking up the trailer. Gee, can't imagine why. Aha. Some of us just have more sophisticated taste than others. Who are you? You don't look like one of the cops. I'm not. Then again, neither are you. We're in the same boat, freelancers that Lamb and Q need to get the job done. He shrugs. I figure it's a steady paycheck, so why not take the work that's offered? Right? It's not like I'm gonna get shot hanging around this lot. So what do you do for them? Freelance decker. I guess the Wonder Twins couldn't get any stay-at-home decking support without the possibility of raising a red flag to Crate and her people, so they opted for an off-the-book solution. Me. Name's Levic Stolls. With a little luck, you people will be able to get all that stuff wrapped up soon. I can collect the money I was promised, and maybe get the hell out of Hong Kong for good. Why are you leaving Hong Kong? Why are you in Hong Kong if you want to leave? Levic rubs the back of his head and gives a sharp intake of breath. His expression is sheepish. It's kind of embarrassing, to tell you the truth. Just tell me. He sighs and shrugs. Alright. It's like this, okay? Sometimes I take field jobs. I don't like it, but with some jobs I've just got to be out in the field. This job was close to home, though. A runner team in Jakarta had been contacted to steal an animal, but they didn't have a decker. My fixer put us in contact, and there I was, slicing IC for them. Was it some rich suit's pet or something? Nah, we were stealing from the zoo. Hold on a second, you were stealing from a zoo? I mean, I guess it sounds kind of cold, but where would you go to find rare animals? A pet store? The client wanted this particular kind of dolphin, a storm dolphin or what it's called. They cause storms, shoot lightning, drown sailors. They're real jerks, actually. So I'm jacking into the water flow control system for the Ragnan Zoo using a unshielded data line from the chimpanzee exhibit. It was set up so that this one system controls all the water to the exhibits, pumps, drains, the works. The plan was to hook up a tank of Soma 3 contact anesthetic to the water system, pump it into the storm dolphin tank, and put them to sleep. Why not just put one in the bag? And have a pissed off weather controlling dolphin shooting lightning bolts everywhere? No thanks. We didn't want to light up the sky with a cetacean rendition of Thor storming Jotunheim. That was not an easy sentence to read. Everything's going fine. I've hacked the injection system, and that they use to keep the water pH balanced within acceptable limits for each tank, and the Soma 3 is going to get piped in. What I didn't realize is that the chimps had woken up and had been getting more and more annoyed that I wasn't paying them any attention. They'd been throwing stuff at me for a while. Sticks, bit of bark, stuff like that. Right as I'm about to start the Soma 3 pump, one of the chimps nails me in the head with a damn rock. Worse than that, when it hit me, it broke the deck's lead off my jack. Well, that's some bad timing. That isn't the half of it. Since I was halfway through starting the pump sequence when I got dumped, the system thought I'd given a half-finished command. What does it decide I wanted? To service the dolphin tanks, of course, so it opens the service hatches on the side of the tank. Oh no. Oh yes. You see how bad that could be. So the rest of the team is suddenly bowled over by a flood of seawater, and pissed off man-hating lightning whales. They came streaming out of that tank like a bunch of rubbery Valkyries, chittering and squeaking up high heaven. All the while, they were blasting the hell off of everything with lightning. Suffice to say, it wasn't subtle, and the police got called as soon as the neighbors saw the sky lighting up and heard the gunfire from the team. I had to get out of there as fast as I could. I could swear that these storm dolphins were laughing at us too, even when they were flopping around the concrete. Is the client mad at you? Everyone's mad at me. The team thinks I screwed them over. All the storm dolphins got killed, so the police want me for that. And the client wants me dead because I cost him his medicine. Sometimes at night I still hear their squeaking. Gives me chills. See you later, Levic. Trying to break into any zoos. Yeah, good luck to you, too. That took a twist I was not ready for. So we established that there's lightning controlling dolphins and that this guy apparently is here because he simultaneously pissed off his own crew, his client, and the police by pouring lightning dolphins on them. Okay, that's one way to close an episode.